Wonder if he's balding.
Back in 2016 or so, I was a freshman in college, and my friend and I, who lived on the same floor, started a YouTube channel. It's actually this YouTube channel that you're watching right now, but all of the videos are deleted. So I've had this channel for that.
That goes to show that you can
Reset.
You can start anywhere, but you gotta start
somewhere. Yeah.
And then later on, if you don't find it's relevant, or you already learn that what kind of person you want to be on YouTube, then you can delete, but you gotta start it.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all like practice. Later on, you can just like, okay, this is not me.
Oh. A lot of Twitter accounts are like that too. A lot of them have been like years ago.
It goes to show that they don't. So a lot of times when I look at them, I have this fear, okay, I will never become like them. But I didn't realize that it took them also a lot of learning to be where they are. So I can't expect myself to be where he is right now, but I gotta start somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere.
Well, in the past, we made like videos on calisthenics. We did eating challenges, like a 10,000 calorie challenge, and other like talking head videos. And it didn't get anywhere. We didn't know what we were doing. But that wasn't the end. I always had this desire to do something creative. I didn't think it was going to be a personal brand by any means, but I wanted to do something. And so naturally, I started experimenting with other things, and I got into photography / digital art / editing. I really like the editing portion of it. And if you scroll to the bottom of my Instagram, you can see those edits. And that's technically when the name The Dan Koe, or my handle, was born. I was a lifeguard over the summers, and I was trying to think of, okay, what should I name my Instagram page? And my coworkers at the time were like, oh, what if you just shorten your name to this? And I'm like, okay, whatever. And it just stuck. Now, I gained some followers doing the digital art and editing, but I eventually burned out because I tried to do one edit a day, and I couldn't handle taking Adderall every morning and busting out 6 hours staring at Photoshop. So that failed. But I really, really, really didn't want to get a job after graduating college. That was like my driving force. I never really knew what I wanted to be when I grew up, but I did know that I didn't want to be like most people. So onward to more businesses. I tried building 3 e-commerce stores. One was drop shipping grave clothes. The other was minimalist wallets. The other was blue light glasses. And after taking courses on Facebook ads and borrowing $8,000, not $8,000, borrowing $2,000 from my dad, I eventually racked up a total of $8,000 as a junior in college. And that was just after a bunch of short-lived ventures like the 3 e-commerce stores, an SEO agency, a content marketing agency, trying to do web design, trying to do Facebook ads, trying to do all of these things, and being $8,000 in debt as a broke college kid who's already living
he was
$8,000
after the $2,000 borrowing. I thought he said he gained $8,000.
No, he meant that he borrowed $2,000 from his dad, but these e-commerce not work well, so he's even more in debt, $8,000 in debt.
Oh, damn.
Dudes trying to lower their rent, a design, trying to do Facebook ads, trying to do all of these things, and being $8,000 in debt as a broke college kid who's already living with 7 other dudes trying to lower their rent to like $200, $300 a month while working part-time. That's not a good spot to be in. That's a lot of stress. Now, for the climax, I ended up getting a job. I had been studying programming because I learned that it was something that I could do without a degree. And I thought, okay, well, if I learn this, maybe that's my backup plan, right? I'm not going to be able to get a degree in programming, but I know I can learn it very quick because I'm good at self-educating. And so that's what I did. And I ended up getting a very base level web design job at an agency in Arizona, where pretty much I would spend the first few hours of my day working on my own stuff because I learned the brutal reality of working a desk job early on is that most of your work is just procrastination. You're not really doing anything. Most people that work a desk job, I say most people, I know there's exceptions. Most people can work on their own stuff, procrastinate their work like I did,
like you did,
and then just copy paste templates for the e-commerce and call it a day and get paid. But I knew that if I stayed in that job for too long, I would get comfortable. The wife, the mortgage, the kids, the responsibilities, nothing wrong with those things. But it would just like pile drive me into this state of not having any time, money, or energy. My life at that point would then just go on autopilot. Now, to keep this brief, I ended up making freelance web design work. So while I was at my job and I procrastinated all my work, I would just try to land freelance clients for my web design stuff because that's what I worked in, that's what I understood. I had a general understanding of how to help people with web design. But after making the freelance web design thing work, I realized that I had just built myself into a second 9-to-5 because I was still working on client projects. I was still working on projects that I didn't care about. So with all of this stuff circulating in my head, it's not just like one decision of, oh, should I start a personal brand? I was in this job. Well, I was in a job that I hated. Then I went into freelancing, which I hated. And I'd already tried so many different things. So I had my brain was primed to make this decision. That's when I really discovered the power of social media. People were just posting about their knowledge and interests, and I felt like I could write similar to what they posted. They didn't have to constantly reach out to clients because their content attracted the clients. And I saw web designers selling digital products that required zero effort, beyond creating the product to make money. So it checked all the boxes, but I had already tried that, right, with the YouTube stuff. And I had already built some kind of an audience with the digital art, but I had no idea how to monetize that. Now, as time has gone by, as you guys can see now, I have a rather successful personal brand, if that's what you want to call it. And I have learned so much from my prior business failures and my freelancing stuff and building web design digital products and other things of that nature that I eventually started helping people with their brand, right? I was a brand advisor for a year or two, and that's still kind of what I consider myself. If I were to label myself as two things, it would be a writer, because I am an author, I write content, that's what I like doing, and then a brand advisor, where I help people set up their brands to do what they want in the unique way.
I would say what I like to do, my favorite things is performing, doing it with all the gears that we have and making
but not
illustration.
having to fit into other people's script.
Create your own. Yeah. I think that's where I'm close to navigating to.
But then again, you're a writer, but you want to perform in your own script then.
Yeah, so I'm a writer, meaning that
You write your own script.
I write my own script, but in truth, I like to make I like to create cartoons, illustrations, I want to make that,
Okay.
as opposed to a writer. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think the one that was a month ago that he just came up was, we're eventually creators and directors. So you can be writing, you can be directing, you can be editing, you can be doing all that, as long as it's truly your own,
But where leads him to this point very similar to me.
Yeah.
I did freelancing, I did web design, and I realized that I hated those things to do for others.
So part of that is what I'm here to share with you today. I want to give you the pieces that help you build a better personal brand than what 99% of people can do. So let's start with a quote from Naval. Artists are, by definition, authentic.
Big time. Totally synergy and alignment. It's I don't know how much they are familiar with each other, but a lot of the things that he's approaching is definitely Naval. And he doesn't even have to say his last name. You just say Naval and people already know who you're talking to.
Here's about him is that he has a vast knowledge of a lot of the great people, and he read their work. And he didn't just create these things; he meant those things into his own words,
right?
And created, like he said, like he said already. Most of the things are already said and done by most people,
right?
But you have to do it your way. You can take other people's product and slowly amend it to what fits you better and sell it to other people, right?
Yeah.
Just like all these shoes, this barefoot shoes, they are all the same.
Oh.
But each brand kind of make it a little bit different from the other brand.
Correct.
And they sell it.
2, who's going to be Elon Musk? Who's going to be Jack Dorsey? These people are authentic, and the businesses and products they create are authentic to their desires and needs.
Right.
That is from Naval's piece called Escape Competition Through Authenticity. Now let's speed this up a bit. You're here because you have interests or skills that you want to turn into a future-proof income source, but you don't want to become a hollow shell of a human being. You don't want to put yourself into a box. You don't want to build yourself into another 9 to 5. So I want to go over the highest impact things you could be doing. And these are the things that most beginners don't know because they haven't started, or they just glance over because they're told that other things are more important. Forget about your niche for now. Forget about your bio and banner and all of that stuff. It's important, but there are plenty of people with no bio and a blank profile picture doing just fine. Your content and the quality of ideas you post over a long enough time period are what create a brand that people can't help but trust. That's your entire business strategy.
Go back to that again. I like
Money
that.
is a measure of trust. Important, but there are plenty of people with no bio and a blank profile picture doing just fine. Your content and the quality of ideas you post over
your content and quality of ideas you post over a long enough period of time, a long enough time period.
Basically, you say you have to be consistent and keep putting yourself
I know.
out there.
That's beautiful.
In order for you to become a brand.
Brand that people can't help but trust. Boom. Yeah, 100%.
a long enough time period are what create a brand that people can't help but trust. That's your entire business strategy. Trust. Money is a measure of trust. Now I'm going to teach you what I call the trust matrix. It's composed of 3 parts. There's growth, so doing what works to attract people. There's authenticity, which is expressing your core beliefs. And then there's authority, so displaying your expertise.
What works to attract people? Authenticity, expressing your core beliefs, authority, displaying your. But another part of me is like, I really am fascinated by energy healing, you know? That's why I said I'm putting it out there with the teacher that my dad's following. Because I like to learn from him because he's younger, but he has a wide range of experiences. Not only that, but yeah, he has a good range of experiences, and it's much more affordable than the Barbara Brennan work, like full-on course class, which, you know, it's nice, but I just want to just have like one particular person I want to follow, you know.
So you buy that course?
No, not yet. But I would like to set myself. You have to commit to like, I think 2 weeks, and they're
How much is it?
It's $600.
Which course?
He teaches an online course of energy healing, you know.
Okay.
But I feel like what my intention is, yeah. But
I want to pay $3,000 to get a yoga certificate.
Yeah, you should.
You should.
Jake's already a master. The master of dog pose. Like that. Yeah, so like I think that's like, you know, one of the intentions. Because again, if we can build all that together, we can have like our own, you know, world we're creating. And people who are interested in that and with our kind of like expertise, I think we will attract more of that kind of like kingship, you know, helping people out.
You know, not really sure any of this. I just feel like I made progress today that in terms of like what I can talk about to you, because if I can talk about my conflict, what I'm dealing with your family, and knowing that you'll be on my side or you'll be more in a justice position than like just blindly being on your family side, makes me feel safer to talk to certain things to you. because before I was afraid, if I talk about certain conflicts or certain things, you would defend them instead of helping me to understand the situation. So your reaction make me feel safer in this relationship, this family. Knowing that you will support me and understand me instead of just being a defensive mode. You know? That's what bothers me, because I couldn't talk about those moments during the dinner time with you, but that actually bothered me because I was thinking if next time she visited, I probably didn't want to go because of those moments. I feel so alone that I feel like my power was taken away in that house, and no one will listen to me. And I cannot even talk to my own dog, acting like a parent to my own dog. That's what kind of makes me a little bit hesitant, you know.
Yeah. Anytime. I feel now that but also I think you're in a position now where we're in a position now to be able to be open to that conversation, right? I think up to this very moment, at this very point, I think we are grounded and open to being available to listen to all sides and not try to react and pass judgment.
Yeah.
You know,
it was a little bit hard for me because I was trying to understand, is she trying to tell me that she's the authority and I don't have any power in this family? Like, you know, a lot of those self-talks during those moments, because I did not have I cannot like straight up just talk like, what do you mean? I can't talk like that. And it wasn't really a good space to confront certain things. So I just feel very uncomfortable, you know, how am I going to navigate in the future in your family while I also want to stand my ground? Not trying to take anyone's power away from them, but I don't want people to take away my power.
Right.
And my own authority. So I have to like stand very firm in those situations and not react and not be reactive, not hurt anybody. So I have to really like tune into like this is not persuading myself they don't mean any harm. But also at the same time, like, are they trying to like establish authority over me? Are they trying to control me?
Questions that come into your head about
you
know, their intention or whatever, whatnot. Yeah, it's a natural, and I think, you know, I think you held it well. I mean, you know, we just had this conversation and the event happened a couple of days ago, right? Or even last week, right? So for you to being able to now have that moment of expressing after you kind of sit with it for a period of time, and now having myself being comfortable having this conversation with you, I feel like, okay, yeah, it is. It's a progress that, you know, I'm seeing, and I'm very happy to see that you're opening yourself more and more in this relationship, so that we can kind of grow together and be in line and being vulnerable at the same time, you know.
That's it.
Okay.
Now, when I was a brand advisor a few years ago, I called this the social matrix, and there have been spin-offs of it since, which is great because it's going around. But this is kind of like the baseline of what you need to focus on. This is the big picture of personal branding as a whole. And then after we talk about the trust matrix, we'll talk about monetization. Like, how do you start to think about monetization as a personal brand? So the first pillar is growth. And with growth, you need to build your idea to execution muscle, a pattern I've noticed in successful creators.
Good
job,
How do you know this? It's native.
So much. I feel like your YouTube, well, maybe it's like, you know, I noticed like with Dan Koe, because he has a very big following, the YouTube ads are much longer. But for instance, when I do Wim Hof and other ones, they're like 15 to 30 seconds.
On laptop, it's shorter. On TV, they automatically set TV YouTube to be longer. So whenever I play whatever on TV, it's always a minute.
Interesting.
Whenever I play on my laptop, my phone is the shortest. Phone is like 5 seconds to 15 seconds.
Right.
Website's 30 seconds. And TV is always like
crazy.
The moment they notice an idea at the intersection of performance and excitement, they drop anything they were doing and write it down. These ideas typically come to them on a walk, while listening to an audiobook or video, while reading a book or heavy content, not brain rot social posts, or while having a conversation with others. Now there are...
See, this is why, why? Because a lot of times those ideas are coming from your higher self.
Right.
So they're like just coming down at you. So you have to record it.
Yeah.
It's more like in those moments you're in tune with whatever the universe is trying to tell you.
Yeah.
So you have to do it.
Yeah. You write it down. I've been trying. I just write constantly more and more ideas down when I sit and like, you know, whether that's like before we go to bed, in the morning, or sometimes when I wake up, you know. Like I just have a dream that I just feel like, oh wow, like there's a few ideas that are very much similar to what he's trying to say, you know.
First is performance, so they understand how to articulate ideas in an engaging way. The ideas have the potential to do well. And then second, there's excitement. So they have a genuine interest in understanding the idea or articulating it in their own way. They see their brand as a collection of notes of these ideas. So that's how you generate ideas to talk about under your personal brand, is performance. So will other people like it?
Here's another idea I was just thinking of. So a lot of times I feel like there's so many ideas out there, right? We often have these ideas, but now I want to live stream the ideas and then dig deeper into like how it's as accessible as possible.
Yeah.
It's an experiment.
Perfect example is like if you look at Sam Altman and Elon Musk, even though they're two very separate people, but Sam Altman, before he became known, he has his own blog for many years that he has been writing down his ideas and post it online.
Oh, Sam Altman, you said?
You don't know Sam Altman. Sam Altman has
I didn't know he had that.
Oh, his blog is gold. You should go.
Interesting. Okay.
He posted many years. He write
just ideas, crazy.
A lot of essays that he wrote about life, work, and just everything. And Elon Musk, not like you don't have to say, he posts it every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Online. And also Naval, he posted a long time on Twitter. So these are people that just like whatever that gets in their mind, they just post it. And that's many years of like posting ideas.
Yeah. I think now, but again, I think because I want to move towards what's great about IRL in real life, and like a lot of these things outside of like deep, dense content like Dan Koe, right, is that he built himself where it's like Johnny Harris, like they built themselves so well and attractive that you're willing to sit for 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm right now like thinking like, oh, like I like live streaming because it's like as close to you know being in the moment and just being authentic. You know,
like him said, he started from somewhere that his videos before probably no one cared about.
Yeah, no one
They were
cared.
doing, like
Yeah,
eating challenges
Yeah.
stuff, and
just
you
kept
gotta
doing it.
start. He said that you already said that mistakes are your compass.
Right.
So you gotta make a lot of these. Those are not
Mistakes.
even mistakes. Those are lessons.
Yeah.
You're like, you gotta test it out.
Yeah,
If you don't test anything out, then you're not going anywhere.
yeah, they're just ideas.
Just he said it. It's like playing that video game. So you
Mhm.
have to go to kill the wrong demons to find out which is the right way to do.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
exactly.
he literally look at his life as a game. And if you're so good at game, then you look at like, okay, then I tried this, I tried there, I tried here.
Right. Yeah, it's true. I agree with you. Lately now I've been like getting feelings of just like as opposed to like looking at a person sometimes if they're not interacting with me, I sometimes just try to sense their energy, right? I try to sense their energy, like, okay, what is their energy like as far as like my sensing of it or the connection of it. It's like, because like if you think about it, it's like if you don't have your eyes, the next thing is just what your hearing, your senses, your taste and touch. But because we are granted with these eyes, like that's the first thing that gets like the most reaction, right? So if you kind of look, and in some ways, if I close my eyes and I like feel like, oh, I feel like there's some lightness to it or some heaviness, it's just some fun experiment that I'm just trying to test right now. Just wanted to share that with you.
Good job, husband. See, I think like making a tiny step is more important than looking at like these already successful people. Like, oh wow, I'm not like them. Just knowing that where they are is because they started from where we are.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're doing it together. Part of me, part of my, outside of my last relationship, a part of me wanted to find someone, like I was seeking someone that I could do these kinds of experiments together,
Yeah, so
like,
you already after a painful relationship, not knowing what you want, because you made a mistake of not knowing what you want. That mistake is a compass gearing you. You already know that's not someone I want. Then you gear towards someone you want.
Right.
So it's the same thing. You make a video or you make these live stream that in the end, like, oh, I don't like it. Then you already oh, do I like live stream or not? But you have to do it first, right? No one just like born to already like this baby just come out like, I want a perfect partner, and they found it, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you generate ideas to talk about under your personal brand is performance. So will other people like it? Does it have the potential to do well? And excitement. Do you like it? Do you want to write about it? Everything becomes a source of ideas when you know how to articulate an idea in an engaging way and when you want to write about it. The reason most people struggle to come up with ideas worth writing about are those two reasons. Their mind isn't trained to be articulate, and they don't consume information at the edge of their understanding. So the single most beneficial thing you can do here for your writing is to use high-performing post structures as training wheels for your articulation. So when you have an idea, you can turn it into something that other people may like as well, and it will get shared and you may gain followers. So if you want to practice this, pull out a notebook or open a note-taking app. Write down 5 to 10 writers, thinkers, or creators who you admire for their articulation. Spend 1 hour a day for the next week scrolling through their social accounts. And this part is important. Find their anomalies, the posts that have at least 2x the engagement as their other posts, and then screenshot or write them down in your note-taking app. The key shift here is you need to stop reading ideas on the internet as a consumer, and you need to start doing so as a researcher. You're doing it.
That's what I was just trying to say. Like, but mine,
that's why I think this.
My path's a little bit different. Like mine is like, I want to, as soon as I get the idea, live stream it and do it, and then just show the work. a part of me was feeling like, oh, a big part of me was thinking like, oh, someone might steal my idea. But at the same time, I feel like, oh, someone will do it, but they'll do it completely different than me.
We're all stealing each other's ideas.
Yeah, that was my kind
That's
of like
exactly
big.
what he's saying. Steal someone that you steal someone's ideas that you like. I'm sure one of the person he said is Naval. He probably stuck on Naval like big time.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But that's why it's so funny to me that there's so much of these these big things about people taking other people's ideas and like, you know, I guess like.
Yeah, I'm so fucking sick of someone saying, "Oh, you stole my idea." I'm like, is your idea original too?
Right.
Right.
It's a slippery slope because again, the idea is to have as an idea to then make it profitable or to make it your own or you own it, right? But I think eventually
authenticity is like, how do you apply this idea to yourself and do it in your own way? I think that's what matters.
But also I want to add note is that some people steal the idea and just post it on themselves.
Yeah,
I think that's different.
That's called copy paste.
Yeah, that's copy paste.
But most of the ideas in the world is already like, it doesn't come from you. Okay, Buddhism doesn't come from anybody.
Right.
A lot of those Buddhist teachers, they're talking about the same thing that Siddhartha said thousands of years ago. Are they copying Siddhartha?
Right. But even all those Buddhas has different takes.
Yeah.
All the monks have different tastes.
But they developed their own. They took one source and start branching out.
Correct.
Instead of just like, oh, you copy me, you copy Siddhartha.
Right.
Like that.
Right. Exactly. It's very true.
Or written down at least 20 to 30 posts that represent the articulation you want to adopt. Break down why these posts work so well. So you have this note or document of other people's posts or ideas inside of it that you want to be able to articulate in that way. Under each of those, you write down 3 to 5 bullet points of why it did well, what psychological patterns are being used, how did it capture attention,
This is his way, and he's teaching everybody his way, but obviously you can discover your own way.
Yeah, I know. That's what I feel. Like, I like where he's going with this. I just have a different spin on it.
Yeah, but he's sharing his way.
Right.
You can share your
own way, yeah.
So he's basically teaching you that you can find your own way.
Yeah.
And share about
Right. I actually like these questions here.
That way. Under each of those, you write down 3 to 5 bullet points of why it did well, what psychological
why it did well, what psychological patterns are being used. Okay.
See, another thing I want to add is it's actually very similar to comedy. Stand-up comedy is that that's how stand-up comedian, they learn how to do a joke, how to land a joke, is they take other people's joke and study the structure, and they put their own jokes into that structure. That's called technique of stand-up comedy.
Yeah. It's one method. I mean, others, like, you know, I feel...
There are many methods. I'm just saying that to use other people that's how you do joke. That's how you learn how to be a stand-up
Right. They are setups.
Yes.
Yeah. Until you're one of the things is that until you're comfortable enough to be in your own skin and take in a lot of different forms of reaction of comedy of people's reaction towards your comedy, then it's like
you gotta be influenced by something to start somewhere.
Exactly.
Words are being used. How did it capture?
How did it capture attention?
For attention, what's the value there? Why do people?
What's the value there? Why do people care? Why did it do so well? Okay.
Care. Why did it do so well? Another thing you can do is just use this prompt where you can pause the screen right now, take a screenshot of it, and then copy paste it or do whatever. But you paste this prompt in, you add the social post to it, and then it will break down exactly why that worked, how it's structured, and how to replicate it, because it gives you a step-by-step way to replicate it with your own ideas. Now, the point with all of this,
What did he say?
exactly,
Do a comprehensive analysis on this with the overall idea, how the sentence is structured, and choice of words, analyze why people engage with it, why it works well, what's type of being used, and how I can replicate this style by step with my own idea. This is exactly like stand-up comedy. That you put your own joke into a structure. Not even a joke, you put your own experience into a joke structure to make it a joke, to make it sound like a joke.
Right. Yeah.
If I just talk about like what happened to my day, it's not funny. But if I put it into like a stand-up comedian, you give it like how you
A
land
format.
it and a callback, and then you add like this and that technique, and you have a joke.
Yeah.
why that worked, how it's structured, and how to replicate it, because it gives you a step-by-step way to replicate it with your own ideas. Now, the point with all of this is that you are dissecting why already validated ideas have done well. When you practice writing in a way that stops the scroll and merely demands readers to absorb the idea, growth is a byproduct. So that's why this is called the growth pillar, because it helps with the growth of your audience. If your audience isn't growing,
this is how we learned as a kid that's why I always keep a book of I actually do the same. I copy the articles that I find useful for me and I write it down, and it kind of ingrained to my mind. That's how I learned that when I was a kid at school, we always have a very thick notebooks, and every week our teacher will give us like an assignment that you have to copy some articles that you find useful and just copy it, just write it down and do like 2 pages. And then overall, like you learn, it's kind of ingrained in your mind. You learn all these techniques from different writers, and you know how to do your own writing.
Yeah.
you don't have an influx of traffic, so you won't get paid. You don't need to grow by thousands or millions of followers. You just need to be growing. Now, the click with this growth pillar is that validated ideas or things that make people grow are already out there, and it's up to you to find those, take those, and make them your own and experiment until you see consistent growth.
Right.
Now, pillar
It's
two
like-
is
It's like when he says that, it's like people who have many different variations of nutrition, many different variations of workout, many different variations of, spirituality practice, right? So you experiment, you try to find it, and then you say, hey, this is what works for me. And when you do that, you build the growth that you find consistently. If it's growing with you consistently, then that's something that's helpful. You know?
So you can put your
It
own,
goes with anything, actually.
you can find a post that says that carnivore is the best diet.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can put it's a completely opposite of our lifestyle. But if that post works so well, you can put why eating more plants and vegetables are good for you into the carnivore diet post. To even if it's a post that's stating something that's completely contrary to your own belief, but you can swap those things out, put your own idea in, and it will work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because you dissect the content, right? Because it's like we don't know what that post did as far as, but you analyze it, right? You analyze like all the things that it says, all the nutritional values and all this other stuff, and you can basically replicate that. But I mean, that guy, that Asian doctor, he basically said it out loud, so, which is cool. I'm happy to hear that a lot of the things that no matter what the nutritional path you go to, as long as it's not like too much sodium, too much fat, too much of anything, then whether it's plant-based or vegetarian or, I don't know, paleo, keto, or carnivore, it can help you,
authenticity, or the core beliefs to attract the right people. So far, in the growth pillar, you know how to turn any idea into a social post that people can ignore. But people don't follow ideas. They follow people who share ideas. Two people can write the same thing, and people will perceive that post in drastically different ways.
Exactly.
So take James Clear versus a random guy off the street, and imagine they both tweet, habits are good for you. Tens of millions of people know who James Clear is. They know his story. They've read his book on habits. They have a deep yet indirect relationship with him. Most people who read the tweet from James Clear will like and repost simply because it's James Clear. The fact that James Clear is saying it brings other ideas that the people are already aware of that they're perceiving the tweet from. But if a random guy posted it, habits are good, people would either ignore it or they would comment, yeah, no shit. So there are three things here. The first is time under attention. The more attention people give you, especially in long-form content like articles, books, and videos, the more they perceive your post through the rest of your
I gotta get
ideas.
ready.
So that's something.
Thank you. To be continued.
Thank you, Dan Koe. Dan Koe.